I grew up right by a White Castle, okay? And that is exactly what happens there. Major mayhem, fights, and apparently robots cooking burgers. That's new.
Automation, it's the future.
Wow. Take that, humans. Hello, friends. I'm Derek. That's Noah, and you're listening to A Bite Of. And of course, we are covering the second half of Ironheart, episodes 4 through 6. That was a quick series.
It was a very quick series. Oh, 2 weeks. Crisp 2 weeks, 3 hours out of your week. I don't think it's been said that there's supposed to be a second season, so we'll see. But tons to talk about. Reveals 5 years in the making. If you've been with us from the beginning, something has paid off. Before we get into everything, make sure you're following us. Let us know down below in the comments what you thought of Ironheart. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like most? Are you a Natalie stan just like us? And yeah, so spoilers ahead for MCU, Ironheart, and everything in between.
So let us officially take a bite of Ironheart, episodes 4 through 6, created by Chinaga Hodge. After the heist gone wrong, Riri must deal with the consequences of Cousin John's death and leaving Ezekiel's tech at the scene of the crime. Bent on revenge, Parker becomes even more consumed by dark magic as the identity of his evil benefactor is finally revealed.
Revealed.
Whoa. Re-revealed. It's like they took the hood off of the benefactor. That was a stretch, but it's fine.
That was a Reed Richards size stretch, which I'm just going to, real quick, I know this is about Riri and about Ironheart, but we are finally officially in Fantastic Four month.
He's so happy.
Fantastic Four. Oh, that theme song.
By the way, everyone, I'm wearing a heart monitor, so I myself have an iron heart. Just in case, I just realized how much it sticks out. So I'm just letting everyone know.
All right. General thoughts. What did you think about the second half to Ironheart?
So I think I had said in the last episode that I thought the first 3 episodes were good, but it took a while for them to get good. Like that third episode really paid off. Whereas I thought that all 3 of these episodes.
Wow.
All 3 of these episodes were very strong. So I thought that they kind of stood alone. You know, if this was a week-to-week show, I think that episodes 4, 5, and 6 would have been great views on their own. I mean, it was great watching them together, but I thought that they were all really strong. What did you think?
That's it? That's all you have to say? General thoughts?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get into more.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just wanted to be sure before I just skyrocketed
Here
forward.
he goes. Yeah. Here he goes.
No, I will keep it. I think in this review and discussion of this, we're going to save that reveal for a little into the episode, into our conversation, because I don't want that to consume it, because this is Riri show, and I don't want that to be the only thing that we talk about, right? But that being said, I 100% agree. Every episode outdid itself completely. I was 100% enjoying everything I was seeing. I would say, honestly, the last episode of this season was the best episode of this show. And that's pretty hard to do. We started this phase, as far as TV shows goes, with Secret Invasion, and we're ending this phase with a really good show. So they grew at some point, but I'm happy we're ending this phase, is ushering out into the next one.
Yeah. I think out of the 3, for me, my favorite was actually number 4. Bad Magic. I really liked the fact that we needed to see her dealing with what the heck she just did, right? And she's trying to stay with the group. She's trying to be like, I'm a team player. I really don't know what happened, but it's just not working. And Parker can really see through exactly what's going on with her. I also love that in this episode, we get to meet Zelma.
Okay. You can't see down here, but Strange Academy t-shirt here that one of my friends has made, and I bought it as soon as I saw it. I'm telling you, yes, the reveal is big. When Zelma, I don't know how Zelma Stanton being in the show completely flew under my radar, and I didn't know it until I saw her on screen. So happy. I'm everything about Zelma I just love in the comics. I love what they did with her in the show, but yes, go on. Love Zelma.
Well, just that whole scene I thought was really fun when we're meeting Zelma, right? So one of the things that they did is in the first episode, right? We meet her mom's best friend, who is just kind of like this hippie with the sage, kind of witchy. And we're just like, in my head, I'm like, oh, she's just like this funny little character that they're sticking here. But we learn that she's actually the mother of Zelma. And through all these conversations, we learn Zelma's backstory. We learn a little bit of her mother's backstory. And we know that she has studied with Doctor Strange, or at least has been under the tutelage, his tutelage, right?
At some point, but they left,
right.
Which is good because if we know anything from Multiverse of Madness, that place had an attack from Wanda. So it's good that they weren't there.
Yeah, I agree. So instead, they're running this really fun. By the way, is this not just like a very Derek store? Like it's candy and crystals. Like, oh yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, sweets and readings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I would go there for sure. We'd be best friends. But I really, really liked her. And I thought that they did some, throughout these 3 episodes, there was like a little bit of an injection of humor throughout it that I really appreciated. There was one really funny thing that after they've kind of looked to see what this material is that Riri has, where between the 4 of them, they just keep kind of like passing the bottle with the piece of cloth in it. And it was just super funny, just really physical comedy, not really commented on. And I just thought that was really fun, especially going from the heaviness of the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I liked this start to the second half. Meeting the Stantons was a joy and a pleasure, and I hope to see Zelma in some capacity going forward, be that if it's a Strange Academy TV show, which I know there's been whispers of. This show is interesting. It was finished a couple years ago, but I know they've changed some things because the MCU as a whole kind of changed trajectory, especially with Jonathan Majors not being Kang anymore. So a lot of things have changed. So my hope is that this show, from what I've seen, is a lot of people are enjoying it and a lot of people are liking Zelma. So it's like, Strange Academy, come on, we need it. It would be amazing. It would just set like a whole nother different tone for the MCU. But we have a lot of Avenger stuff coming up. So I think that's kind of my thing at the end of this, or just my thoughts of like, okay, these things are cool, but like, what is next for this? And I'm hoping some of these characters we will get to see again.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been our question in these later phases, is where do these decisions and these characters fit in to the rest of the universe, right? And so I think that's a big question mark that we have. And I would be curious too, but something like a Strange Academy TV show, we're still even waiting for the Young Avengers at this point. So like, how far in the future is it going to be?
I was quite disappointed, and this is my own expectations, that I didn't get to see Kamala Khan recruit Riri, or even Kate Bishop or somebody recruiting her. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I know she's left with a big like, oh no, but hopefully we'll see again. But so you really liked 4 out of these. I would say 6 is probably my favorite, but I liked 5 because there's just something about this fight in this White Castle that was a lot of fun. And I just like seeing the crew one last time before, I don't know, maybe we'll never see them again. But there's a particular moment, one when Riri falls on to the White Castle sign that spells out ouch, yes, which was so funny. But I love Shea Coulee, Slug, walking away from that vehicle completely unharmed and be like, you know what? I know when to stop. I'm gone. I'm good. Yeah.
When it's you, a fantastic and super intelligent human looking at a giant ironclad Riri, I would say turning around is definitely the best thing to do.
Yeah. In episode 4, there was that scene with Natalie grounding Riri with the technology of showing her a memory with Gary and her, which getting the Iron Head, finding out where that came from, was really special. And I think that the show did a really good job of showing the battlings with grief and loss and everything, but then how do you take that and go forward? One thing that I like that they did about this in this show is that fathers is a big theme in this. And we have Hood trying to become his father. We have Zeke or Joe or whatever you want to call him trying everything not to be his father, and then Riri doing everything in honor of her father. And I thought that was really a nice through line between all of the other themes and everything going on in the show.
I love that. And I really didn't think about that. So thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
Making those connections. Wow. God, it's like
So formal.
We're like in a literature class right now. I love it. What does the red suit mean? But I love that. And I think that really going into that was important, right? Because in the first half of this season or series, whatever you want to call it, we see her just being so headstrong and leaping before she looks. And it really is all because she doesn't want to deal with her losses. And so we really finally have her mother saying to her, like, you have to deal with this stuff. You have to realize what's going on. And so that's part of Riri's healing process. I mean, by the end of these 3 episodes, do we think that she knows how to properly deal with loss and grief? I would say no.
No, I think that's one thing I really liked about Riri as a character and how they wrote her for this, because we don't really know much about her in Wakanda Forever. We got a little glimpse, and seeing everything that she's gone through and things that she's constantly having to go through was really eye-opening. But it also left us with, oh, she's a good guy. Like, she would do good, but it's like a morally gray area with her. Like, she made bad decisions, and she continued to make, especially from what we've seen, bad decisions. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate the new things that they've done with this, and not just a clear cut, she's a good guy. Like, oh, she's going to make some bad decisions with like robbing stuff or whatever, and then she'll be good. In the end, she still made a decision that she knew she shouldn't have, but she did it anyway.
Yeah. And I think the thing going along with that is that, you know, she's a kid still, right? She's in college. Well, you know, so she's college age. And I think that
a little less, but
we're allowed to, you know, make those mistakes. When we're young, maybe we're not clearly thinking things through.
Make these mistakes?
But you know what I mean? So everything in her mind is to protect her family.
Yeah. And well, everything around her is like constantly not letting her get where she needs to go. So she's doing things to make sure she does get there.
Yeah.
I get it.
Us as viewers, we're like, that's a stupid decision. But for her, it makes sense, you know? And so I understand that. I'm not saying that the things that she did were right or smart, because they definitely weren't, but I could see the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
So now let's go to the final episode here, where I think we could talk about the big reveal finally.
Yeah. I think Sacha Baron Cohen as the one and only Mephisto was perfect. Perfect casting. The charisma, the way that the accents kept changing, the you attract more flies with honey as opposed to not. So it's like the way they're portraying this character is absolutely perfect. And I really, really appreciate that he doesn't look like his comic book accurate demon form, because at first I was like, oh, that's weird. They're not going to show it. They did in the Spoon. But it made sense. I feel like if he would have been really demoned out, it would have been a little too jarring with how the series was. Does that make sense? Like, do you feel that way?
I understand. Yeah. And I also think that there's something to be said of, you know, the devil will take on a form that will make you feel most comfortable, right? To make a deal with it. So if a giant red demon with horns is sitting across from you, you might run in the other direction. So for him to be, you know, Borat is, I think...
He looked much more attractive than Borat.
It's for it to be Sacha Baron Cohen. I think that, you know, with that face, I think makes the most sense. I do hope, though, in the future, who knows, maybe we've been waiting 5 years for Mephisto, and then this is the last time we'll be seeing Mephisto. But I think it would be really cool to see him in his full Mephisto form.
Yeah, we're going to get it. I'm curious when. Again, we're in this weird transition period going into huge Avengers movies. And, you know, the next Fantastic Four is leading directly into that. So I'm not sure if Mephisto's going to play any part. Could. 100% could. You know, Doctor Doom is like the tech and magic merged. I thought it was really interesting that Riri in an Ironheart show got Mephisto and tech and magic before we got some of the other big stuff. So again, appreciate that. But then that begs the question of like, oh, Mephisto, he's clearly made deals with other people. Who else has he made deals with? Which is going to be so much fun to find out who he has just in the MCU in general. But where does that leave this character? Like, is there room for this character, or are we going to have to wait? Which is fine. I'm fine with waiting. We've waited 5 years since we all thought collectively in a pandemic that Mephisto and WandaVision. We were big perpetrators of that as well. But yeah, I'm curious to see where he would show up. Spider-Man, the title of the next movie is Brand New Day, which it's taking a title from a comic. I don't know if they'll do the exact thing, but Mephisto is heavily involved in that. He's not married, so it would be, I don't know how that story would work, but he could show up in Spider-Man.
That would be really cool. I think that they should just do a Marvel cinematic special called like, oh my God, Mephisto. And then it's just all Mephisto all the time.
Well, you know what's interesting is I think in like 2009, it was one of the Comic-Cons or something, but Kevin Feige had said that going forward, because, you know, the Infinity Saga was ending and it was like, what's going to be next? And Kevin Feige had said like he wanted to carve out sections of the MCU, you know, like supernatural, cosmic, mutant, whatever. And it seems like they're kind of doing that still with Kang reworking and all that. I don't know how that's going to work, but it would be interesting if Mephisto was kind of the supernatural side villain. Obviously, he can be involved as much as he wants, but I'm kind of liking that. Like, there's a big overarching like thing happening here. You know, you could have the Midnight Suns. Blade is supposed to happen at some point. We saw what's it called? A Black Knight at the end of Eternals, like Werewolf by Night. All of those characters. It's like there's Midnight Suns potential. Moon Knight, to put them all there. Where they don't naturally feel like, oh, cosmic, you know. So I'd like that. That could work, but maybe not yet.
I'd be really into that. I think that's a really cool idea. And, you know, in thinking about over the last 5 years, all the times that you and I have been trying to track Mephisto, you know, it started off with WandaVision. I remember at the beginning of Loki season 1, right, there was like a stained glass window that had a devil in it. We were like, it's Mephisto. He's behind the TVA, right?
I think there was also like maybe in What If, I could be wrong. Ugh, they're all not blurring together, but like the Mephisto mentions, there was like a train at some point where it was like, that could be Mephisto mention.
Anything could have been Mephisto.
Yeah, it was a wild ride.
But I am proud of us that we picked up on that background Faust poster and we put that out there, and finally we were right.
I think like, you know, I remember there was, you know, those scoopers and everything had said like Sacha Baron Cohen is going to be Mephisto in Ironheart. And everybody was like, what are you talking about? That's too weird. It turned out to be true. But like, I remember seeing that and being like, whatever. Like, of course, like this is just going to be another ploy for like, it's going to be Mephisto. Everybody's looking out for him. And I think as we were watching this, I was like, it's interesting. Like, can Mephisto fit into this? And I think around episode 5, when you start seeing the loss and the deal, like kind of going that way, it's like, oh, something is going to happen. And I was still very much surprised when Mephisto was revealed. As soon as I saw it was Sacha Baron Cohen, I was like, there's nobody else. Who else is he going to play besides Mephisto?
Yeah, I mean, literally making a deal with the devil, right? And I will say my one critique is this. Are you ready? It's, of course, a Derek type critique, is that this whole show takes place in Chicago. If the devil is sitting you down at a pizza place in Chicago, why in God's name would it be a thin crust crap pizza instead of a Chicago deep dish oozing with devilish cheese?
You know what's weird is, so I had watched this. We watched these kind of separately just because our schedules were a little weird. And I ended up watching like the last episode while you were watching it. So I got to look at some things. The pizza was weird. I don't know if they intentionally did it or if it was like a Starbucks cup Game of Thrones situation where like just production just forgot about it. But like there was a moment where like he had a deep dish pizza, but like the pizza that was in the middle was like tavern-ish style where it was like kind of thin crust. It was weird. Like the pizza in general was just weird. I don't know if it was like intentional or not, but I don't want to really open Pizzagate with this because we just got Mephisto. So
yeah, because like I even got a little caught up in my head. I'm like, well, maybe because he's the devil, he's not actually going to give them a good piece of pizza because it's never an actual good deal with the devil. Yeah. But if we're thinking about devilish things and sins, right? Gluttony, we want to be, you know, slathered with all of that deliciousness and oil and cheese and sauce. So it should have been on the table.
That's where your mind went?
Yeah, I have a food addiction. What? Like he just met me. Like what? Also, drinking coffee with pizza? Interesting.
He might have had tea.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Drinking tea with pizza?
Yeah, why not? He's British.
True. That's very true. I'll give you that.
All of our British watchers / listeners, do you drink tea with your pizza?
A cuppa with pizza?
Yeah.
Let's dig into a little bit more of this magic side, right? Because you were saying this before, kind of bringing the magic into Ironheart. But I was kind of expecting Riri in the suit to have more magical powers than she did.
I was like, did you say what your critique was? Yeah, it was the pizza.
Very serious critique.
My critique here for just the series in general, it was very action light, and when the action happened, it was fine. I thought it looked great. I did want a little bit more magic, because I think in the first half when we were doing this, I said, I hope we don't get it at the end. We did, and that was just something that I want more of. Obviously, I love the magic side to the MCU. I don't know how Riri would have done more magic, but yeah, I think like it was enough magic for it to be cool. I love the new suit, but yeah, we just got a little bit of it.
Yeah, it seemed more like it, like, you know, Zelma was there to imbue the suit with magic, to fight magic, which was great. And then, you know, the part where she tricks Parker, was that magic, or was that some sort of technological hologram? So I agree. I wish that there was more magic.
Yeah, I think they did enough, but we just got like a taste of the supernatural. We got a taste, a little bit of the horror, a little bit of the magic. That's why I'm curious if it's like setting up more, because we did get an end credit scene with Parker and Zelma, and I'm not too sure what this is setting up, but it's setting something up. It's just like a very odd end credit scene with these two specifically, especially with Parker. He doesn't have the hood. Where is he gonna take Zelma? Like, is he gonna use her to get to Doctor Strange somehow? I don't know, but I'm not too sure where that leads.
Mm.
But yeah, more magic is in the future. I don't know how.
Yeah, I agree. I love an end credit scene. I always think they're exciting. It gives you a little peek into what's happening. With these two characters, it was kind of like, huh? And also, I don't know. It seemed like Zelma, while again young and powerful, still had thought to behind what she was doing. And then like this random guy walks into her shop and she's like, well, what can I do for you? You know, it's like, what?
She thought he was hot. I thought he was hot. I would be like, hi. She doesn't know who he is. Hey, I'm not going to blame her.
What I'm just saying is that when Riri walked into the shop with a piece of that hood, she was like, what do you got in your pocket? Meanwhile, this guy walks in.
No hood.
But he's got hood veins. Come on, people, use your brains.
I'm not going to talk.
Smart.
Nope. Not talking ill of Zelma. Nope. Not at all. We keep going this way, and before we go this way, we do have to talk about Mr. Stane, just a little, because we left him frenemies. He told Riri we're not done yet. I don't know what that exactly means, but he's also a loose thread in this. I like what I liked that this show did. Was kind of set up some of the plot stuff, and they all got handled in the second half, but then there's still most of these characters around. So I think a lot of the question marks are what is next for these characters. But one thing we do know is that Natalie, the real Natalie, is alive somehow, doesn't have any of the knowledge from AI Natalie, which I guess that would make sense, and is real. But we left Riri with some of those demon veins coming out. I'm not too sure what that means and where we go from here. Like, we're going to get Avengers Doomsday, and Riri's just going to be consumed by a demonic force. I don't know.
So there's going to be now another subset of Avenger called the Evil Avengers, and it's going to be Wanda and Riri, and then maybe a couple other people.
Are you saying Wanda's evil?
Well, y'all know I love Wanda, but she really, can't trust her anymore.
Yeah. So I loved everything about Riri and Natalie. I thought that whole storyline was amazing and beautiful, but it was just such a somber note that we left on. I didn't expect that for this series. I really, really didn't expect that. And I thought it was quite impactful.
Yeah. And it was really interesting because, like we were saying before, we really enjoyed these 3 episodes, and the trajectory of them, it really felt like it was like building up. And then that, like, it ends not with a battle, but it ends with a conversation.
Yeah.
And
both
a deal.
ways. Yeah. Well, yeah. And then we have the conversation with Natalie as well. And it's like, how are you going to navigate that? Because then they're going to have to tell Natalie, Gary died, you died. I brought you back because I talked to the devil in a pizza shop. Like, it's going to be very confusing for somebody.
Yeah. And I think for everybody now, it was like, you know, when the AI Natalie disappeared, right? When they imbued the suit with magic, it almost seemed like everyone was like, Riri, it's okay. It's not really her. And so they were okay with that. But now how is everyone going to deal with this memoryless real human Natalie?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like everything prior to, unfortunately, when she had gotten shot, she is her. I'm not looking forward to if we see it. Maybe we won't. I don't know how this is going to work. But when Xavier finds out that his sister is alive, that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough. Because then he's going to find out what Riri did.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Riri.
Ooh.
Why?
Yeah. Overall, fantastic. I think, you know, I remember saying in the beginning, I like it and I want to love it. I ended up loving it. I think there's so many things here. The second half was just so good. I appreciate the first half because it set all of it up, but just adding some of these extra supporting characters really helped this show. You know, it was funny because like just leaving the crew, like Parker's crew, kind of like, okay, they're gone. What's weird is I didn't miss them. And I'm not saying like, oh, they're forgettable, but the Stantons and everything were so impactful that it kind of filled that void. So very good. I would say this is up there with like supporting casts for these MCU shows.
Yeah, I think that, like you're saying, the supporting cast really was strong in this. And, you know, in these 2 parts, we had 2 full, you know, cast of players that I really enjoyed. And, you know, in the second half, even having Ezekiel really kind of literally transform.
He became all of the things that all the blueprints he gave Riri, they put him inside of him. That's so fucked up.
For real. I mean, that guy drilled things into his head. That was pretty rough. But I thought that character is really interesting. And that's the thing about this series is that there's so many question marks. And Riri kind of has a lot of adversaries that are still out there. So what does that mean for Riri? You know, there's Mephisto, there's Stane, there's Parker.
Well, Mephisto's not her adversary. He got what she wanted and she got what he wanted.
I guess I should say she has people that are going to be
I know what you mean.
Her good.
He's just not going to actively even give 2 shits about her. Like he has her soul now, so bye.
How do you get it back?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I don't know if originally it was all leading or some parts were leading to like Strange Academy or what that was going to look like. Like, was a Kang variant supposed to be in this show of some sort? I don't know. So I think if they're going to have Ironheart or Riri be involved in some of these Avengers movies, they're going to have to figure out a way to solve that problem. Like get her out of the contract or get her soul back somehow. So leading up to that point, I have no idea how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If it's going to happen.
It's just a big old question mark.
Yeah. I will give this 4 out of 5.
I'll give it 3 out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
3 hearts out of 5, 4 hearts out of 5. But let us know what you thought of Ironheart. I think it's only going to be 1 season. Boo. But we will see them again, hopefully in a Champions or Young Avengers, whatever they're going to call it. I'm excited for the future for this, but also Fantastic Four comes out this month, so yay.
So it will definitely be overshadowed.
No, never. For me, no.
No, it's just going to be like in full Fantastic Four merch the next time you see him.
You know that
all
girl,
the popcorn buckets.
You know that girl that is that meme forever of like getting ready for whatever that's me. You will be seeing it. It's just going to be covered. I already have Fantastic Four comics up here. It's just going to be covered.
I can't wait to see it.
Just Pedro's face behind me.
You and all your Fantastic Four joy.
Thank you. Okay. Let us know what you thought. Goodbye.
Bye.